Welcome to the 80/20 show presented by your host, Jason Yee. Okay, after one false start, here I am with special guest Pavel Barber, who I'm really happy to have on. And you guys may know him from @HeyBarber. And we're up here at UBC, and we're just chatting about the first time that I met Pavel up here. And I said to him, "Hey, Pavel," or "You're Pavel Barber," and and I said, "Oh, do you know who I am?" And do you remember what you said now?
No.
And he said, "No."
Come on, I didn't say that.
And so I said, "I got some work to do."
There
so
you go.
That's.
But he's well known in my head now, for sure.
So that's good. So yeah, so we're just actually out on the ice. We're using the. What's that called?
Give and go passer. Holy, it was fun.
That was fun.
We had a lot of fun today. Sweat a lot.
Yeah. And that was like that. I think that should replace coaches. And I talk about drone coaches, so we can probably replace most of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of questions. I have some questions for you too.
Sure.
We covered them kind of last time we met, but dive into the questions.
Let's do it. Yeah.
But do you have any intro that you'd like to give for those who maybe don't know you?
Oh, sure.
I know most do.
Yeah. No worries. Lots of people don't know me. So yeah, I do some videos on YouTube, some videos on Instagram, stuff like that. Specialize in stick handling, that side of the game, that's pretty much what I do. And then for a living, I do hockey instruction. So anyone looking to get better at stick handling and deception, that area of the game, that's kind of what I specialize in. And
so we got together like a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And I was mostly curious in because you went to school in Ontario, right?
Yep.
But not for kinesiology, right?
No.
Yeah. And so I was like kind of scratching my head, being like, how in the world did this guy get so good, right? And I think you told me it's mostly just by studying video, right? Is that kind of the main thing?
Yeah, mainly just looking, watching video, messing up, and being obsessed with it, and needing to be able to do it properly. So
right. And why did you have to do it properly?
Just because I just had this obsession. I loved hockey so much, loved stick handling so much, and when I'm not able to do something, it doesn't get out of my head. So. Right. When I see Pavel Barber, the first thing I studied was that shootout move 2006 when he did on Turco.
Right.
And everyone was scratching their heads saying how did he do that? And there's a lot of people saying, it's just, Pavel Barber, man, he just does things people can't do. And then I began to break it down, and my first time doing it, I fell. I looked like an idiot. Didn't score the first 3 attempts. The 4th attempt I scored, but still fell while doing it. So, it's a work in progress. I can do it now, okay, but it's that's the kind of stuff where it's you look at the video of him doing it, you do it yourself, and then you watch yourself do it on video.
Right.
And you just isolate key points of a skill set, and you just try and piece it together until eventually it becomes the whole skill in itself, yeah.
It was it's funny because, I came about this, kind of a very similar process, kind of from the scientific side, right? I studied kinesiology here at UBC, and I was like, okay, how's the best way for me to learn? I was the ultimate nerd about hockey.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious that, I don't know if it was hilarious or coincidence or what, but what you did kind of to figure out Datsuk's move was following all scientific best practices that I knew, right? So when we were chatting about that, I was like, wow. And so you've replicated that with a whole bunch of other skills now, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's the same process. I feel, I feel like I'm a better coach when I can do the skill because I know exactly when they're messing up.
The learning curve.
Yeah, learning curve. It's when you mess up, what was the best thing that helped me get over that hump?
Right.
And sometimes it takes me 5 tries to realize, okay, this is the way to do it, so I can save that kid a bit of time and frustration by saying, this is what we need to focus on here, and this the order of things to get to the actual skill.
So you're the master coach, because I know you're a fan of talent code, and talent is overrated.
Love it,
right?
Love that stuff,
and so one of the key things is to have a master coach to speed your learning curve, right? So because there's deliberate practice and purposeful practice, and the difference is that deliberate practice has a master coach guiding you, like you said, shortcutting it.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, with your video, like you've done all that work in a whole bunch of areas with the stick handling.
Yeah.
And where I really noticed it, and the thing I've noticed with you too is like you've improved. Like when you started making videos, like when you first kind of came on my radar, I was at UBC and I saw your cane challenge, and I'm like, oh, first off, this guy's good, and second off, I think that's UBC. Who is this guy? Yeah. And then like as the years went on, I was like, you're getting better and better and better and better, and that's because of I guess just the constant video. Right?
Yeah, just the video. And when I actually took a year off of, well, not a year off, before I started training, I took a year to learn how to teach, because it's like it's hard to learn how to actually teach someone, and being able to do the skill in itself are two completely different things. And when you learn how to teach, you literally learn it twice. Right. So when I was making mistakes, whether it's on my stick handling or shooting or whatever, I was noticing picking up on them quicker. Right. So my awareness of where I went right, where I went wrong was quicker. Right. So I was able to correct my mistakes a little bit, fine tune them a little bit more accurately, a little bit more quickly. And yeah, I definitely think my stick handling's improved a lot in the past just 3 years of teaching. I think it was okay at the start, but there was a lot of flaws.
Okay, yeah, okay.
there was a lot of flaws. I mean, like even that Patrick Kane drill, I look at it and my top hand's too high on a lot of the stuff, and just kind of jammed in there. And what that's not allowing me to do is look up to the next puck. So now when I do it, I keep that top hand out a little bit, top hand lower, around hip level. Right. And now I'm able to go through it with a little bit more speed and react to the pucks ahead of me a little bit faster. So I can definitely do that a little bit better. But that's the kind of stuff it just transfers from every skill I do now. Right.
Yeah. No, like it's like like I say, like I was just totally impressed with just how you improved over the years, and you already started out because as a player, you don't really do the Patrick Kane challenge, right? You're kind of more focused on like what is coach saying, like forecheck, backcheck, but so I remember like trying it in practice, like throw out all the pucks and do it. It was just like boom, 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 pucks everywhere. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So the fact that you were able to do that then, and that was kind of where you started, was there, and it was already awesome, and then it's just kind of continued to go up, and you really that really cemented when I saw you with Rio. Satoshi was on the show earlier. Rocket Rio. Oh yeah. What's the name of that video called?
It's like
Skilled something.
Yeah,
in Toronto.
Was a 12-year-old stick handling wizard from Toronto.
Right. Rocket.
He's pretty good. He's I mean as well as I do. He's worked really hard from the last time I saw him 1 year ago, and his dad will back me up on this. It's just like his work ethic is just skyrocketed. Insane. His skill in just 1 year. I mean, it was very significant how much better he's gotten. Right.
Yeah. No, I saw that and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then the other kind of thing that we were chatting about was like a few weeks ago, we were talking about just kind of like the idea of positivity in hockey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the other thing that like I'm a really big fan of you, and is like, because I don't know if I was always like this. Like I've always been kind of like technical, like science is the religion, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then I really realized that like in talking with coaching a lot of kids, there's like a lot of negativity, a lot of kids that are really like down and stressed because of their coaches are just being unnecessarily negative. Yeah. Right. And the thing that like I really think you do a great job of is just making it fun and positive. Yeah. Like why is that important to you? Or like why is that important for your coaching?
Yeah, I mean, to get better and to be as good as you can be, you have to have a positive mindset. And when we're negative, we're almost kind of self-sabotaging ourselves. We're not as focused. We're just like throwing temper tantrums, and, or your mind's not on the skill. And I see that a lot in kids when they're either looking up at their parents or looking up at their coach right after they failed. Signifies to me that they're not 100% focused on the skill itself. And, we all know it's not news to anyone that you need to fail to get better. So if failure makes a kid feel like, oh no, what does dad think of that, or what does mom think of that, or what does coach think of that? That's a big problem. Right. We need to be encouraging them to fail. Right. So for me, like the only thing you'll find me raise my voice, which is pretty rare in training, is when the kid's not focusing. Right. Because that's what you can control. That's not a skill thing. We all know you need to bring your biggest focus to your training to be better. Right. But if you make a skill error and you're focused and you're giving your best, there's no way you can get upset at a kid.
Right.
You know, that's just like, you know, you got to support that side of things. So yeah, I mean, being positive is the best thing you can do for yourself, and that's from all facets, not just sports, but everything in life. You got to have that mindset.
Well, we were just out, like, I don't think we talked about this yet, but with the pass trainer, what's it called?
Give and go pass.
The give and go pass trainer, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Full endorsement.
Yeah.
It's this rubber thing.
Yeah.
That bounces the puck back at you, and some like inventor guru invented it. Like,
yeah. His name's Jim Marinoff. So he invented the Fast Hands Pro.
Okay.
He's currently inventing a shooter tutor, which I'm going to get and try it out. And this one is the give and go passer, and double-sided passer, 60 inches long, just high-density rubber, both sides passing. It doesn't move, sends you back a crisp pass, and it was just like fun.
It was
really
out there
fun for an hour.
It was really fun.
You just, your mind goes, and we were all just trying to think, what else can we do with it, and just messing around, getting creative, and definitely challenging yourself. There's so many ways to challenge, and that's where, you know, I find, like, you know, training aids, that's what they're for. You don't need them. You don't need all of them to get better, but they add an extra element of fun to it, and extra challenge if you need it, and if you can't have a friend with you, you know, you can have this passer to.
The reason I brought that up is because when we were out there, you know, I'm used to the hockey environment, like you know, like in practice, tense, don't screw up, right? Like, oh, don't mess up your pass, and if you like make a nice pass, like, you know, sometimes you get like a woo, but like. You know, most of the time it's just like, oh, okay, good, he made his pass, and that's it. When I was out there with you, right, like, we were messing around, we were having fun, made a ton of mistakes, right, and then, but then, like, we're just playing, and the one time I remember I got it, and you're just like, whoa, like, you're enthusiastic, and I was like, what was that?
Oh man, you gotta enjoy it.
Like, personally, I haven't had that in a while.
Awesome.
Right, so it's just like a reminder for me as a coach to bring that as a player, and like when I see you doing it, I see all your videos, I'm like, that is like really well done.
I love it, because that's like where I think we have like the word professionalism kind of backwards. We think professionalism is not going woo in like in hockey, and screw that, man. Like you do something sick, you have fun with it. They do a silly like celebration, dive out, like we see kids like just diving out there like they do in NHL 17 after they score a bar down goal in practice. Like, do it, celebrate it, have fun with it. Obviously, there's times where you got to be focused and, you know, not. So. Yeah,
totally. And I was actually having this conversation with a pretty high-end player. I think he's like turning 17. Right? He was asking me, like, telling me maybe I'm overtraining. Okay. And I was like, well, let me ask you a question. I kind of use these terms. I know they're kind of woo-woo, but I was like, are you training out of love or are you training out of fear? Right? And are you like afraid at the end of the summer you're not going to, you know, make some team or whatever, or are you just loving every minute of it? Because if you're loving every minute of it, you can't really overtrain. Right? It's just, and so that's what you're bringing, is that just fun. Right? I see that energy at all your sessions. Right? And like that's like such a important thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, like the way I look at overtraining, there's like two sides to it. Because obviously, like, you know, if you're training like 12 hours a day, your body is going to be hurting. Not too good. So obviously there's the physical side to it, but to your point, I think you're talking mostly about just the overtraining in terms of, you know, like the mental side of it is, am I going to still love this game if I train this much? And exactly what you said, you know, it's like, I used to train on the outdoor rinks for like 4 hours and I'd only go home because I needed to eat. I was going to pass out or something like that. So if you love it and you find ways to make it enjoyable, but not that come at the cost of challenging yourself and having a good solid training session, there's no reason why you can't train that, you know, that long and that hard. It's just you know, that's the thing we're kind of lacking. Like when you call people drone coaches, it's like you're talking about the people, and trust me, I've seen them. You know, they're creativity stunters. You know, they don't like seeing all that stuff, and you know, every kid's got to have, you know, some structure to their game, and you got to have that understanding and know where to go, know where to be, and all that stuff. But you've also got to have your own identity. You got to have your own time to work on your skills, whether it's in the, you know, basement with a golf ball, or, you know, outside with a floorball stick, or on your rollerblades or anything like that. I mean, my love for the game grew because in summers I would get on my rollerblades. I would blast my favorite tunes. and I'd just be in the sun ripping around with a green biscuit and just shooting pucks, and it was just fun, man. I didn't think I was training, and I wasn't training for anything. I just loved it. I knew I loved it, and I wanted to get better, so I focused while I did it, and I think every kid can do that.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of same idea for me. That's the best part of it. Mm-hmm. That's why people play. They don't. Yeah. And the sad part is that you get these players who are like, they spend like 99% of their time in pain for that 1% of awesomeness. Yeah. Where like I see with you, you really switch that around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, there's I'll go through it like very briefly, but there's this thing they call the happiness advantage, and it's
I've never heard of this.
Have it a little bit backwards, where we like seek happiness by kind of having this lofty goal.
Okay, right.
But the problem is like we're constantly just out of reach. We have it right there. Right. Once we get it, we make a further goal and we don't celebrate it.
Right.
And we're constantly just out of reach from like happiness and actually enjoying it and celebrating our little successes. Because along the way, like we don't just get from like starting to like pro level. There's lots of little checkpoints where we're getting a little bit better, and we should celebrate them. And that's kind of the happiness advantage brings. Like when you're happy while you're doing it and you're celebrating your little successes, you're gonna get way better than if you're not celebrating those things. So just like we were talking about professionalism, it's not unprofessional to celebrate being able to do your first ever one-timer and raise it.
Right.
Or, do your first ever toe drag successfully in a game. Like, you got to celebrate that stuff.
Right.
It's a big deal. So yeah.
Right. So speaking of the toe drag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got the Train 2.0 followers know this. Okay. We've been bubbling up these different ideas about the difference between the toe drag, the can drag, and you maybe have a third one. And I showed it to you on the ice, and I said, because I picked it up from you with you and Rio in that video, because I noticed it's something that you do, and it's something that Kane does. And I noticed you went back and forth with Belfry on it a bit too. And he got pretty technical. I'm convinced that you're already doing it, and that Belfry's maybe nitpicking a tiny bit. You mentioned something about the other one, the backhand pull. They're all, everyone's curious, do you do the cane drag? Is that a purposeful thing? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways to do a toe drag. What you're talking about with the cane drag, it's kind of like rolling it off the back and then getting it right in the toe, and that's kind of just to hide the puck a little bit longer and not let them know where it is. Right. I think that's an important thing. It's just disguising.
Do you do it purposely?
Yeah.
You do it, eh? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keeping at the heel and rolling off the back, because it kind of looks like you're setting up to do a pass or a shot that way, and might get the defender to just overreach their stick, and at the same time as you're pulling it back, you're just pulling it just out of reach from the stick. So that's kind of an option.
Because in that pull, they have to overextend a little bit. Right.
Exactly. And it's a great option if you're a little bit too close to a defender, where you need that extra little bit of puck protection. So even if you don't do the toe drag and they block off that side, you can at least hold it back there on the forehand side and maybe go to the forehand or whatever. And then the main thing I have for the toe drag, and I always say it to people, if you watch the NHL and you watch how these guys are pulling off the toe drag, is they're always selling like they're going to go to the forehand before they do it. So the toe drag starts on the backhand side, and as the puck goes over to the forehand, the body's got to go over to give the intention, like he's going to drive wide forehand, I better turn my feet and block this off. So
Can we just get locked in here?
I don't know.
We can get ourselves out.
We got a cell phone. We'll be all right.
And a cell phone, yeah. I bet you someone just came by and checked it. Anyway.
Yeah. But and then the pullback. So we obviously hear they either call it a curl and drag or a toe drag.
Who calls it curl and drag?
All these announcers and stuff.
Americans, right?
Yeah. I don't know, like not the toe drag, the one where they pull it back. So I don't have a problem with that, because at least they're not calling it a toe drag. But when you have the backhand side of your blade on the inside of my palm here and you're pulling it back, that's not a toe drag. That's the only important thing if you're coaching out there. Don't worry too much about the names of things, but you got to stay consistent. That way when you're saying use the toe drag, they're not thinking, oh, does he mean this, or does he mean that?
And then you flip out when they do the wrong thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
that's the worst with coaches. But anyway, we'll get to some other questions. Like I know, let's see here. People are stoked on Pavel Barber. We'll leave that one alone.
I can talk about that.
Okay, sure.
I don't have it yet, so.
Okay, well, we have a question asking if Belfry's stick is a good investment, and Pavel's getting sent one shortly.
Yeah, so I'll have it shortly. So
Yeah.
I can't answer that honestly right now.
Right.
I like the fact that someone's trying to innovate the stick, and I'll definitely let you guys know when I get it. My full thoughts.
So the floating lie, right? Is that? I was actually just thinking about it. Like, is that kind of like a field hockey? Because isn't it? Because you played field hockey.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Do people know that about you?
Probably not, but yeah.
Yeah. So field hockey, they have the curved thing.
Yeah.
Is that a floating lie?
Yeah, I don't know. We never measure field hockey sticks with lie or anything like that. So
There's no Medano curve.
no, they're just short sticks and very uncomfortable to the body. But yeah,
Man, I was driving by the field on what is it, Canby? No, Oak Street.
Oh yeah.
And my girlfriend's like, do they all have to use the same like sticks? Is that
No, they don't. So
you
there's
don't?
there's like 36.5 inch, and then there's 37, which would be a little bit taller.
Okay.
It's a little bit shorter than your belly button is the way you hold the stick, and
Right.
the way the game is played, you actually want a shorter stick because you're constantly like really close to people.
Oh, I see.
They
Okay.
shoot it like a golf swing,
Right.
and stuff. So yeah, it's awful for the body though. Like coming from hockey to there, man. Like
Right.
I was in for a rude awakening. It's a tough sport.
Right. No, that's funny. I mean, and the other thing too. I mean, like, because you played field hockey, you played floorball, right? So
Yeah.
you've talked about the cross training of that.
Yeah, love that.
You know, like I remember the first time, you know, we were out here actually, and you didn't play pro, did you?
For floorball?
Hockey.
No,
Like ice hockey.
No.
First time I saw you though, I look over and I go, this guy's moving like a pro. I'm like, who is he, right? And then you know, out there today, I don't know if like I don't. Everyone sees the creative shootout dangles, and like they're probably like used to you just doing ridiculous stuff by now. But it's like it's kind of amazing to me like how effortlessly you're like just doing all these different things, right? Like because I'm going out there and I'm trying to copy you, and it takes me like 5-6 tries, and I'm just getting frustrated. And I'm like really impressed with just like how good your mechanics are. And so what role do you think like the field hockey and floorball, like we chat a little bit about floorball, like how does that factor in?
Yeah, I mean with like field hockey, there's minimal for sure. Like that was just like I wanted to try something new, and I thought it was a pretty cool sport. There's a few things like so with field hockey, just because the blade is literally like the size of my hand,
right?
Probably even smaller.
Right.
My toe drag got way better just because the contact
sense.
went on. Like even being able to toe drag over here and over there, and just dragging it and using the toe, like the Barber shootout move that I invented was through floorball because you push it forward, tap it with the toe to stop it dead, and then go across, kind of changing up the speed of the puck and direction of it.
Right.
But that would be it. I mean, field hockey not too much with the cross training. Wouldn't advise it as like if you want to get better at ice hockey, try field hockey to be honest. But floorball definitely, yeah. Sticks fist above the belly button. The speed of the game is nuts, crazy fast. The touch on the ball, you have to have good hands to play it. You won't have much fun if you don't. So very light stick, very light ball, speed of the game very fast. Your reaction speed has to be fast, and the amount of creative stuff you can do with this ball is incredible.
The other thing you mentioned too is that females can have like a similar contribution because there's less of a strength requirement and more of a skill requirement.
Exactly. Yeah. So the great equalizer is the stick and the ball. So because the stick and the ball are so light, you don't need strength to strength isn't as big of a component of the game. It's more finesse. Your thought process, like on your passes and your creativity, which is great. So we see girls at the age of 12. Schooling boys at the age of 12 who are good hockey players just because they're very smart with the puck and they're outthinking them and just doing all the right stuff, whereas guys are trying to just like power through sometimes and all that. So it's very, very good for both genders.
Right. Yeah, no, that's I was really interested to hear that. The other thing that interests me was you were saying because you can't like just like you can't just like whack it off. You have to like steal the ball off the stick. Yeah. You have to get very good at using your footwork.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. So like defensively, the big difference between the sport and you don't need any pads, it's just like a stick and shoes is that defensively you have to get the ball first, and that's the only difference. So no stick lifting or slashing of the stick. You have to be very skilled on defense, which requires way better footwork, but also opens up more room for dangles and stuff like that. And ball possession teaches you how to keep your body between them and the ball and just possess and pass it around, move off the ball, and just all that stuff. Very cool. And we see hockey players, like when they jump into it, they'll struggle for the first 2 sessions, but in a week-long thing with 5 sessions, by the 5th, it's phenomenal if you got some skilled players when they figure it out and make those little tweaks. It's very fun to watch. Yeah.
That's an enjoyable game to watch. That's what. That's kind of like for me. It's a little bit my wish of hockey. Like you know those games you go to and you see just like a player with just like, or not a player, but like a game that's just really fun to watch. Where like everyone's having fun, everyone's dialed in, the coaches are not screaming like idiots, and the kids have like smiles on their faces, or at least like focused looks. That's kind of what I like to see, and so like I like that floorball like forces that creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there's, I mean, like you said, it's pretty rare to find that environment, but there are some good coaches, you know, who at least encourage the kids to try new stuff. Like even if it's something as simple as not dumping it in every single time and just trying to possess it over, that's really important to at least try to get across to your kids if you're a coach.
We got Alan here. He's asking about Mars blades.
Oh yeah.
He's asking, how do I learn to stop in them?
Learn to stop. So that would depend on your surface. So the hardness of the wheels.
Reverse snowplow in a roller rink did not work. Ha ha ha.
Love it. Yeah, so stopping, it really depends on the surface. So if you're playing real roller hockey, you have a real roller hockey surface, which makes it easier to kind of stop on because it's a little bit, not slippery, but a little bit of slickness to it. So you would just like turn your feet first and then kind of push into it.
Okay.
It does take a couple tries and you definitely have to commit to it. You're going to fall a couple times, so be padded up when you're practicing it. Outdoors, a lot harder to do, and it's going to shred your wheels up pretty hard, even if you're using 82A hardness on the Libita wheels that the Mars blade provides. So I would definitely not try it outdoors first. If you play indoors, try it there, but outdoors, stopping, not too much. Unless you're playing on like a slick surface or something like that, but that's hard to find on concrete.
Right. And like the and so like, would you, because one of the things that like a lot of my members have been asking me about, and I haven't got Mars blades yet.
Okay.
I intend to, because a lot of them have been like, hey, you should look into this. How different is it for edging? Like how?
Oh, than regular rollerblades?
No, than like hockey.
I mean, it's definitely similar. There's always going to be differences, but the transition between going from Mars blades to ice hockey skates compared to rollerblades, regular ones, is significant.
Okay.
You definitely feel, just because the imbalance in the middle, you know, if you distribute your weight forward, that chassis is going like that, simulates that rounded edge of a skate blade. So it's definitely, it's noticeable off your first turn, and I'd love to be there for your first try. My first try, and I played roller hockey growing up a lot, I was just like, yes! Finally there's something where you can do tighter turns, crisper crossovers, and it feels a lot more like you are on ice. And now the biggest thing, just don't be afraid of it, because a lot of coaches say like it'll wreck your stride, it'll wreck this, wreck that. Be aware that roller hockey, it's going to feel different. The thickness of a wheel is about that thick, and your edges are that thick on your steel on your regular skates. So there's going to be differences, and there's going to be limitations to what you can do. But there's so many things you can work on still off the ice for free and on the pavement that don't require you to stop and start and dig in with your edges as the ice would. So like your forwards, crossovers, stick handling with the puck at speed with your head up and working on your deception, doing the Patrick Kane drill or something like that. Like McDavid was on his rollerblades in his garage dangling paint cans growing up. Like, it doesn't wreck your stride, but be aware it will feel different. If you're on rollerblades for like 2 months at a time and you step on your skates, it's going to feel weird for about 10 minutes.
So it would be okay, like, if I were to, like, because I mean, some of my drills that I use have a bit of snow spraying on the outside edge. But for the, let's say 80% of the ones that don't, that are just really focused on like the hip work, and the shifting of the weight, those would be good for Mars blades?
Absolutely.
Good to know.
Too easy.
Okay, well, members, get ready. Okay, Jake is wondering.
Sorry to cut you off. They're making an ice hockey boot too.
Come on.
Yeah. So they're
what's
making
that
that same technology. It's the same technology, just with an ice hockey skate. So imbalance in the middle, and it'll go like that. So Paramore's just the inventor. He's sending them, and like actually today he's going to send them. And he had Nicholas Backstrom on him, Marcus Johansson, a few other pro guys. And
so what's the advantage of that?
Tighter edges, tighter turns.
And I guess you wouldn't
more skate
on
the ice
while you're
through your turns, being able to lean a little bit further.
Oh, so you could be flat.
Yeah.
And then you could roll. Oh.
So look, if you guys want to look at it, I think it's on his the Mars Blade site, and you'll get Backstrom's insight on it, what he thinks. But Backstrom said, like, word for word, he's like, I'm wearing these next year.
Really?
So, I'm like, holy smoke! So I can't wait to wear them. So be on the lookout. This might be a game changer if it works.
A game changer.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Jake the guy. He's saying, best way to mentally prepare for a game?
Oh yeah, I mean the biggest thing, and I've spoken to a lot of sports psychologists. The biggest thing is visualization, being able to mentally prepare. Being in that arena before you're there. The sights, the sounds, all that stuff.
So you're saying like not at the rink,
not even at the rink.
Visualize.
You're at home and your eyes are shut. You're not sleeping, but you're imagining yourself like strapping on the laces, the noise of the crowd, the smell of the arena. When you get your first touch on the puck, imagine yourself scoring a sick goal or just making a crisp outlet pass to start out. You got to visualize the success right away. If there's any doubt in your mind, you think, oh, maybe I'm gonna mess up. You're gonna mess up. It's how you prepare for it. So like mentally, visualization, the most important thing, and then just your actual preparation. How much food you eat, when, and how much. The biggest thing for your energy level. So, yeah. What's up?
Sorry to interrupt.
Are you in here?
Yeah.
Okay, we're out.
You're up. Are you like offline right now?
We're online.
On.
On. No, just one sec. We will have to resume shortly. Be back in a bit.
You guys were like live.
I think we're back. Are we back?
I think so.
We're
We're in the
We got booted to the
in the janitor's closet.
This is the janitor's closet. People have been watching Pavel's videos.
Oh yeah, this is straight out of my how to goalie videos, guys. You know, just let the frustration out. There's some blood on it, so that was over someone's teeth. Right over there. Attaboy. You go get him.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
Classic.
All right, we were talking about mental preparation, I think.
Yeah, so like just to finish off that answer, I mean, all the stuff you do before the game, and Wayne Gretzky's dad, I mean, I've had the pleasure of working at his school the whole time, and the story he always tells is how he prepared like 2 days in advance before every single game, and that went into how much he slept, how much he ate, the people he hung out with before the game, you know, to give him good energy and positive vibes, all that stuff. It goes hand in hand with your success. So just make sure you surround yourself with good people, eat the right stuff at the right time in the right quantity, and definitely hydrate. That's the biggest thing too.
Hydration.
Yeah.
Hydration.
Yeah.
Hydrate before you dehydrate.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
you go.
We've been told. Okay, and then the members. I'm gonna have to like go back memory, or where did I put my phone? Where did it go? The members had a ton of questions for us. They were wondering.
Just blowing up the phone.
Yeah, you must have. That must be hard for you. Holy moly. Okay, a lot of questions here. So people are asking about your grip.
Okay.
What does your grip look like? Because I made a big deal over the grip because I used the wrong grip. And it was handy that we have a goalie stick here.
Yeah.
I used the wrong grip for a long time.
Okay.
And it threw off my stick handling.
Okay.
Really until I stopped playing hockey.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That I started using the correct grip.
Oh, wow.
What grip do you use?
Is this just like both hands? Like
No, like the top hand.
Oh, just the top hand?
Or do you have?
I
I mean, obviously,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you use the top hand or the bottom hand. I think that's pretty common.
I mean, I could show you both, but like top hand, I'm pinky just a little bit off the end. This has a pretty thick knob, which I don't recommend for you danglers. But pinky just coming off the end, not like fully off the end,
right?
But like just a little bit off the end. That gives you maximum range of motion with your wrist roll. If you're choking up and there's anything at the end, you're just limiting the amount you can roll that wrist and turn that blade. So that's the top hand, and then the bottom hand in terms of like quick handles and stuff. I always tell people is we have a pulse grip, so the thumb stays locked in the whole time, and that gives you the strength on your stick. When you go to the backhand side, 4 fingers come off. When you come to the forehand, they come back on. So off, on, off, on, off, on. You're kind of pushing it away, pulling it back, push away, pull back. That just increases blade speed without sacrificing any strength you have on the stick. When you see Patrick Kane just like feathering the puck with that light touch, it's because he's gripping the stick like this. And
that's brand new for me. I had no
awesome.
idea.
Good. So like the biggest mistake I see people do is this, and they get the thumb off.
Right.
And right now I'm taxing my top hand so much. If you're finding you're just taxed here way too much, probably because your bottom hand is not supporting. So we make the mistake of calling this a support hand, but not thinking of the bottom hand as something that can help you. Mm-hmm. Whereas, you know, this actually does help in the rotation. It's not just sitting there. So even though it's loose, it's providing a little bit of support. So imagine trying to use one hand and rotate compared to two. It goes faster for a reason because the bottom hand's just doubling the amount we're being able to roll that stick through the hand.
And how'd you come up with that? Because, I mean, for me, I'd kind of just like ignored the bottom hand.
Yeah.
I've just said, don't even think about the bottom hand. Think about the top hand. That's new. I'll have to try it. But like, how'd you come up with that?
I found that out when I was trying to. I mean, Patrick Kane, when his hands and Datsuk, and I was like, holy crap, they're so fast. Like, how are they so fast? What are they doing? And I started to mess around with the quick handle. Quick handle, I just call when the puck moves very little but very quickly, in a controlled manner. I just started to mess around with my bottom hand and what I was doing, and we were always told like bottom hand loose, which is true, but no one talked about like the grip. So how do you know, help move the blade faster, and include the bottom hand in the process, and without sacrificing the amount it was rotating. So I was just like, you know, if that thumb stays locked in and these 4 fingers are coming off and on, then I'm getting the same power I would, but now the shaft is, you know, rolling through the hand, so my blade can move a little bit faster. So. And
when did you come up with that? Like,
that was like probably 4 years ago or so. I started to really figure that out. Because I didn't used to be able to move the puck too little. I think a lot of people might have struggled with it, but like I was moving the puck like from here to here, Whereas now I can just like have it move there, and
Right.
I think the worst mindset I have with this, and you see comments on Instagram, is like, oh, the puck's barely moving, it's useless.
Right.
And it's like it's a skill to do it, and we see the best stick handler in the world, Patrick Kane, do it all the time. And
Right.
the skill with the quick handle isn't to move the puck very much, it's to disguise your intentions on the next move. So when you do a quick handle into your fake backhand and forehand, McDavid, his specialty, where he just stops up and then does that, you see McDavid on a breakaway, he's always quick handling the puck.
Right.
And that's to make it uncertain where the puck is on his blade, so the goalie's not able to get a read on it.
Right.
Same way a defenseman wouldn't get a read on it on a one-on-one, or mid pass where you see a guy quick handle like Kane, he does this all the time. Mid stick handle sauce.
Right.
They don't know when he's sauce or passing it because it's mid stick handle. So
Right.
that's the
You're disguising
why we do it. Exactly.
Disguising it in there. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Just sound is soft. Oh, I can solve that. Fixed. Okay. So I guess the other kind of common question that I got asked was, Ryan asked this, and then Thomas asked it a bit earlier, where they said, it's kind of the same question. They're saying, how do you progress people through your stick handling like sequence?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess inherent to that is like, what's the most important base thing for developing good stick handling and deception?
Yeah, great questions. I mean, and same for me, it's the questions I get the most. So, yeah, definitely an order of things I like to keep doing. So first I do a little like kind of base testing just to see where their hands are at and just challenge them through a few sequences, moving the hands only, so the footwork isn't even there. And then, if they got a good base there, then starting to move the feet and separate the upper body from the lower body as we're stick handling. So I always start with stance with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what level you play. I look at your stance and we see, are you in the correct posture to allow yourself to be explosive, to be stable, and to help your hands out. So for me, when I teach stick handling, I don't start with hands. I start with the feet. So
Right.
how are the feet positioned? How bent are your knees, and are you sitting back down? Is your core tight? Like, are you in a good position? If I push you, you're not going to fall forward. If I do, and like you're in a nice, stable, powerful position. So that's the first thing we always start with. And then right after that, we start with just the soft handles, being able to brush the puck and make a smooth touch on it, move it very little. And we always start looking down with the beginner side of it,
That
looking
was
at
one
the
of the
puck.
questions.
Yeah, we always start with that, and it's not because I want to see kids die on the ice. It's it's to give them an idea, where is your blade hitting the ice? When you're missing the puck, do you see it? And it's a progression. So we start with the basics when we have beginners, and they're looking at the puck, okay, and then they get a good grasp on it, and then we don't look all the way up right away. We look one stick length ahead,
Right.
so they can still kind of see the puck, but they're seeing a little bit more in front of them, and then 2 stick lengths, and then 3, and then 4, and then all the way up, and then to the ceiling, or we do blindfolded
Right.
stuff and all that. But that's kind of the progression in terms of the head up.
Right.
And then from that, we kind of build deception onto all the stick handling sequences. So, we start with being able to look down and do it, then look up and do it, and then to separate upper body from lower body. Like we always see Kane, and he's doing all this when he's stick handling, and it's not because he's like trying to look cool and dance out there. He's he's trying to be unpredictable.
Right.
With his shoulders dipping and the puck going over there when his body's going over there, and just making everything just hard to pick up on.
Right.
So that's like the final stage of the standstill. And then we get that all going at speed,
Right.
depending on what stick handling drill we're doing, add crossovers and deception into it, add passes in between them, and just keep kind of like pushing the envelope. And it's important, you got to know where you're at skill wise. You don't want to jump too quickly to the next step because you don't have the one before it, so you're not able to build off it. So the foundation you set yourself up on will determine how fast you're going to learn that skill. So do
Right.
not rush through the foundation beginner steps there. Make sure you get those down and then build on that.
Well, that's key. And one of the things that like a lot of people, like, I mean, my first video course online was like explosive skating speed, but it was like the off ice exercises. And I was thinking a little more in terms of like scientific wise rather than marketing wise, because then thinking back is like, well, no one's really gonna want that because no one cares if you have proper posture, right? Everyone's like, make me go fast now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
like if like the whole point behind that course was that if you have the posture and there's like kind of 4 basic movements, if you do those 4 basic movements with the correct posture, you're going to be a faster skater regardless of everything else you're doing. Yeah. So that was kind of like my idea with that. So
yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
So and when we chatted about this, or like a few weeks ago, I said I'm fascinated with footwork, and you're like, I'm fascinated with footwork too. And I was like, perfect. The stick handling guy is fascinated with footwork too. I'm not insane.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. I was glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's sweet. Like, I mean, you look at all the stuff like we're seeing now, with McDavid, the way he trains, and all the other guys, and adding ladders to it, and little hurdles to jump through, and it's just being able to challenge your footwork with the stick handling, being able to move the feet through these obstacles while stick handling is going to make you so much better,
right?
And so much quicker. So for you kids out there, being able to get that foot speed going while you're training is so important, because you can build that up a lot before puberty. Just your fast twitch muscles develop really quickly before that. After puberty, it becomes a little bit harder. When you start putting on stuff, it's a little bit hard to build those up. So those early stages when you're developing, just getting those feet moving, not just standing there and stick handling all the time, but just whether it's jumping over a stick, doing crossovers, or running through a ladder into it. Have fun with it, make it your own, but just make sure you're challenged beyond your comfort zone and getting creative with that.
Right, totally. So the footwork, I love it.
Yeah.
Here's a cheeky comment from Lucas asking if Datsuk's stick handling still average. Did you see that video?
Still average?
I made a video called Datsuk's stick handling is average.
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet.
My point was that Datsuk is like, his footwork is so good, and his hips, that most of the time his hands are right here, right? Like, so the puck really only moves from here to here most of the time, because he's doing such acrobatics with his feet.
Yeah.
So he doesn't ever have to really stress his hands a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So my point. Thank you. So my point was that he's most of the time he's making it easy on his hands. So I said, was Pavel Datsuk only average?
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
But people have taken that quite literally.
Yeah. Anytime you have that in the title, you just think, oh, you think he wasn't good at stick handling?
I've had some really rude comments.
Of course, yeah. But no, I mean, to your point, I mean, it's true. He's not the stick handler Kane is, in that he's as quick or flashy, and his hands don't move nearly as fast as Kane's, because he didn't have to. He relied a little bit more on the deception piece from the feet and the edge work and all that stuff, and just the creativity. Like, good God, like he did stuff new every game, whether it was flipping pucks over the net or putting the puck between his legs on a cutback. He had one move, and I have a video of it, called the Pavel Datsuk cutback move that we saw McDavid.
You have a compilation. Yeah, the other night.
Oh my God.
That was on your Instagram.
And it's like, you look at the move and you think, that's a basic move. Like, you should be able to do that, and any hockey player who's got pretty decent skill should be able to do that. But he was able to do it so much better than everyone else. And it didn't look crazy flashy the way he did it, but he was just picking up on cues faster. He was able to cut right at the moment where they, had their weight on that leg.
Right.
So that was like, he didn't need insane stick handling to do that. Obviously, when you shatter guys' ankles like Couture, when he broke his ankles, you look above average stick handling. But you look at the stick handle he did there, it wasn't anything too crazy. It was just well-timed.
Pretty basic. It's timed, exactly.
Well-timed and just in the right spot. And he's looking at those little things that you got to look for, those little cues in defenders. Where's the weight? Where are the feet? Are they turned? Where's the stick? And how can you expose that?
Right. Yeah. And so was that on your, okay, so we're just chatting. I learned how you got your name Pavel Barber.
Yeah. So the story behind that, very, very quickly, is I had that channel called Brandon Barber, which is my real name. Nice to meet you guys. I'm Brandon Barber. And I'm going to get all these Facebook friend requests. I'm not on Facebook. That's a fake. But I had that, and that was dedicated to Pavel Datsuk highlights. And then when I made up one, Google Plus only allowed me to... I put Pavel Barber there as a placeholder, because I didn't really want to keep it. I just put that in I love Pavel Datsuk, so I'll put Pavel and Barber. and they wouldn't let me change it back. So I was kind of stuck with it. So
I was stuck with it.
Stuck with that. I like it now. I like the name Pavel. Obviously, it's like Pavel Barber, Pavel Datsuk.
Yeah.
Pretty big legends and
some good Pavels out there.
Everyone thinks I'm Russian now. So.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
First time seeing you, UBC, is there some Russian guy?
Yeah.
You don't know of?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was sort of another, because you were chatting a little bit about like reading other players or reading players like Datsuk. And the question that was kind of similar to that was, something about take what's given to you by the D-man or stick to what you know you can do, aka a mastered skill like a toe drag or a drive wide. That's kind of the question there.
Oh, sorry. So what?
This one here. Should you take what's given to you or should you stick to your strengths? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it totally depends.
It's a very philosophical question.
It's a good question because it's like it's all about, you want to put yourself in an advantageous position every time you have the puck, and you either need to create it or it's right there for you. So you might find the puck off a broken play and you have an advantage situation right there, where you've got the defender late. He's skating back. When he's skating back, skating forwards, his feet are turned already. So if he overcommits, you have a great opportunity. You're in an advantageous position already to cut back in, depending on whether you're coming left or right, from backhand to forehand or forehand to backhand, in right there, just because he's at a disadvantage.
Right.
Now, if you're coming in on a one-on-one, all things equal, he's got the same speed, he's got good position on you. You have to create your advantage, and obviously it doesn't always work on one-on-ones. I mean, you look at the pro level, how many times do we see a guy dangle past a defender on one-on-ones? So, defenders are very good at it, but I mean, the key is when we see it work is they're creating their advantages, whether that's making a move or selling it to make it look like they're going one way to get the stick and get the feet turned over there. And then having the presence of mind and the vision to say, oh, we just turned his feet, I got to cut and take that window of opportunity right when it opens, because it's going to close pretty fast if you don't. So I think that's the answer to that question. I mean, you either take what's given to you if you're in the advantageous position, and you got to recognize that, or if you don't and all things are equal, you got to create your advantage, or at least try. Don't always just do everything simple. You might look stupid sometimes, you might get stripped sometimes, but on a one-on-one, don't always drive wide. Sometimes you gotta, try and fake them out.
What are you talking about? I got the Connor McDavid drive wide.
Yeah, well, honestly, you should do that like most of the time. But I saw that video though, and that's good. If you got the speed to do it, why would you go through a guy if you can blow around him, right? So, yeah.
Totally. Well, that's a good answer. Let's see here. What's the? Oh, I got asked this question a couple of times. Well, this is fast hands versus good moves, and then the other question I had was the other day was fast hands versus smooth hands. Okay. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when I think of fast hands, obviously you just think of like speed of the hands moving through it, but like smooth hands is being able to have the puck sitting in the right spot on the blade, right? To prepare for the next move. So obviously you look at a guy like Kane, he's got both. They're quick and they're smooth. But then you see a lot of guys who don't have the speed of the hands and the quick handles, but they're very smooth in that they're getting it to the right place and all that. So, I mean, stick handling to me is very simple. It's all about being able to accurately putting it on a line. Like you imagine lines on the ice from where the puck currently is on the ice to where you want it to be. I mean, that's all like smoothness to me, just being able to read, this puck is at this angle, my blade's at this angle, I want to bring it to this angle. And understanding those lines is what I would, consider smooth hands.
Understanding the lines. Yeah. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, so I would say I always show kids on the thing. So we draw lines on the ground, like with chalk or whatever, and we say, you have to stick handle on this line. Right. And we do that, every now and then we say, on a one-on-one, read the lines, see where the puck is. You know where you're going to pull it back on your blade. You don't need to look at it, but you got to see the line of opportunity. So, I mean, obviously we're trying as much as we can not to expose the puck. Exposing the puck is just having the puck in a position where the defender can get it with their stick. And we're trying to always expose the line that's, out of reach, from their stick.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, but we see a lot of players. I mean, I definitely see a lot that have fast hands, but they can't do anything with them, right? So, I mean, you got to have more than just quick hands. You got to have deception. You got to have the accuracy of your stick handles, being able to put it in the right spots at the right times as well.
Fast hands and then the smooth hands with the other players.
Yeah,
reach.
yeah. Obviously, when you got the chance, sometimes putting it through the stick's a good option, but if you have the opportunity to beat a defender without doing that,
right,
take that opportunity.
Right, that makes sense. Do you model yourself after Kane or Datsuk?
I would say both, honestly. Like, it started 100% with Datsuk. I was about as obsessed as you could be, man. Like, that whole page, I recovered every single...
How did you deal with him being left-handed?
Yeah,
I would. Been a problem for me too.
Yeah, I would. Sometimes I actually.
Would you flip it?
Yeah, I flipped
it.
Yeah. Sometimes I had to do that.
That's good.
I mean, a lot of time I can do it just because I've watched it enough.
Right.
Yeah, no. I mean, when I started the YouTube channel, like, I literally recovered every shootout move from 2006 to when he retired, and put it in a compilation because I was just obsessed with how good he was and how simply he was doing everything. And the whole reason for that YouTube channel was to show, because you look at the stats with Datsuk and all that, and you would say, why would he even be considered the best in the game? I mean, point a game average, extremely good, but like to be regarded as the best in the game against people who are getting way more points. Why?
Right.
So I made this, channel dedicated to that, and it was just like every time you would watch him, he was so dangerous with the puck, and just the little things he did. Mm-hmm. Players on the other team were always like talking about. They're just like, even I would get caught just watching and be like, wow, like all these shootout moves he's doing and the things he's trying. So it started off as Datsuk, and then I think in 2010 I really started to get obsessed with Kane. Just like his hands, being able to weave through and gain the zone and do the quick handles, and his style is unlike anyone you'll ever see in the NHL, and how he moves his body and how effortlessly he makes everything look, and how much space he's afforded because of that.
Right.
And just on 2-on-1s, he has this way of going on a 2-on-1 that is just unfair. And he's got his head up, he's being deceptive, looking off the pass and firing it on net and all that kind of stuff. So definitely now I'm watching way more Kane than Datsuk, just because it's a bit harder to watch the KHL stuff. But I would say both. Right.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's kind of same for me. Is like you want to take the best of each of them. And put it together, right?
Exactly. And I mean, Crosby would be the third. I mean, just looking at his edge work. I mean, good God.
His concussions.
Yeah.
Well, is it concussion?
Yeah. God, that sucks for the game. But
I wish that wasn't the case. Someone else had a question. Have you seen my Kane videos and what?
Yeah. There was. Oh, what was the title of it? No, I remember because.
Well, I had one which was. I had his scoring format. That's the one.
Is Kane's stick handling wrong? Or something, that one.
Oh, yeah, that one too, yeah.
I've seen that one.
So I had that one, and then I did a slightly longer one on Kane's goal scoring formula.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
No, okay, so you saw the stick handling one. Yeah. And they were wondering, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good point, because I think your motive for that video was to kind of wake people up and say, we're taught there's only one way to stick handle. And like the way coaches look at it is like, oh, this is incorrect, or this is wrong, and you have to look beyond that and think, what's effective? What's the purpose of doing it this way? Is it effective?
Right.
You got to look at it like that, and you're not going to look at a guy like Patrick Kane and say he's not effective with the puck. No. So it's great that you dive in there and kind of look at the little intricacies of his stick handling, and actually, put it like that. Like, is it actually effective? Which obviously it is. So, yeah, that was a good.
Yeah. So you saw it, eh? Yeah.
Definitely.
You're probably upset. Hey, what is this?
Yeah. Well, no, it's a.
I went after both.
It's a good grab for the
Pavel Datsuk average. And
you have to click on that.
All wrong.
Smart YouTuber over here.
Okay, I think we answered the stick header down, up or down question. Okay. Fast hands versus good moves. Where's the other one? Oh, something about the dig. I don't know what the dig is.
Oh, okay.
Drag, scoop, or dig around the net?
How do you drag, scoop around the net? I think what you're talking about... Oh, yeah.
The dig?
Yeah. So, digging under the puck. I have a tutorial on it, so if you want to
So watch that.
Yeah, look at my YouTube channel.
We're not here to do that.
Yeah, I go over three methods. Doing it with the toe, doing it with the heel, and then there's a third option as well, so... check that out. Plug. Click over here. Subscribe.
At Pavel Barber.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've answered all the questions. I don't know. Anyone else have any other questions?
There's a difference
Where's that?
between Crosby's puck protection
where's
and
that?
Datsuk's puck protection.
Who said that?
Stanley. Well,
Oh, I
that's a
missed
good
that.
one. Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah. So Stanley asked, "Is there a difference between Crosby's puck protection and Datsuk?" Datsuk's puck protection, absolutely. So, I mean, Crosby, he's the best at it. I would say no one's better. Crosby he has a shorter stick, so he relies on a lower base, so lower stance. He goes a lot of one hand, especially when he goes in the backhand, and he does a lot of one-handed kind of protection stuff, and is always looking up and doing mohawks and stuff, and just inviting the pressure. Whereas Datsuk's a little bit more upright. He's got a stick, but what they both have or a long stick. What they both have in common, though, is they counter lean, so they invite the pressure and they back up into them until they feel, because they can create the most amount of space from having them closer. That way, when they do make their moves and when someone is forced to overcommit, they can take that exit and then create a little bit more space. So we see Datsuk do it all the time. And Jagger does this too. Just back up, put that dump truck right in front of them, and just get the butt in their face and just say, "Hey, come at me, man!" Like, you know, if you're very good at puck protection, and every kid should be doing this, go against someone as good or a little bit better than you, and just go one-on-one in a small area and protect the puck for as long as you can. Right. If you're comfortable there, you are going to be so effective, because you're just going to get the puck in tight space, and you're going to end up backing up into people and just being like, "Come at me. Like, I'm way better than you at this, because I train it more." Right. So you got to be comfortable in those tight spaces and those pressure environments, because that's what the game is. And the older you guys get, whether you're like 8 years old now, by the time you're 14, 15, that space is going to close down, and kids are getting bigger. So you don't need to be a huge guy to do it. Like, Crosby's no giant, but he uses every ounce of his body purposefully and very, very smart.
Well, the thing I see with Datsuk that's a little different than Crosby is like you said, Datsuk will stick his butt back. He'll be in a hip hinge, and then he'll just he'll let them push him, but he'll just remain in the hip hinge. Whereas Crosby, like you said, is kind of more of that open hip.
Yeah, and
he's a little more like active. Like going.
Oh, he's just and you want to. There's one good guy, La Flame or something like that. Just look up on YouTube Crosby puck protection.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
Oh my
great
god,
clip.
I put it on my Instagram a few times, but you'll be blown away. Just his edge work and how much work he's really doing, whether it's mohawks or stops and starts and all that. I really
like his track, like the bullet train. It's
I
like that song.
Yeah, kills it.
Okay, what Dalton? You asked about anchoring. What? Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you know what that means?
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't make up the term, but I call it anchoring when you lift up the toe of the blade and you dig the inside edge. Of the skate blade. Sorry. Okay. So and you drive the inside edge of the heel. Okay. Just if you're quickly going forward, just sharply cut. So we see it like on TJ Oshie's shootout move where he shoots, anchors, and he brings it over to it. So I mean, the basic rule of thumb for that is you lift up the toe of the blade, but you angle it in so your inside edge is digging into the ice, and then you drive it forward. So
you're not getting on the outside edge for that?
No, that's the inside edge. So you're
the outside edge. You don't get on the outside edge?
No, not at all for that one. So you lift up the toe and then angle it so it's in, and then you drive it forward. So that inside edge digging into it is just like throw an anchor off a boat, and it'll just go like that. And that's used for like when you're going high speed and you want to quickly and sharply change direction.
So it's different though than I guess the jab step, like that stride.
Yeah, it's different than that. So jab step or T-stop, whatever people call it, it's different than that. That's an outside edge one, where you're completely like rotating it like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a wicked one though, and I'm going to be coming out with a tutorial on that.
So you use that for shootouts or
that's
high
shootouts.
Speed kind of?
Yeah, for everything. So like shootouts, very effective. We've seen that on toe drags too. Like when people do toe drags, they'll toe drag and then anchor. Just if they're going too fast and they've got like minimal space, or else they would hit them, they'll anchor just to keep their momentum from going forward. Right. Just to keep them away from the defender and pull it off. It's been used like so many times. Watch McDavid use it. He uses the quick handle backhand anchor all the time on shootouts. Like crazy good.
He does some bizarre stuff, and I was chatting with another guy. He's on Instagram. We'll give him a shout out, Casey Barnson, and so he kind of talks a little bit about the rotation. Like he's probably like, if everyone has their kind of specialty, I see him as like a rotation guy. Like, I mean,
Okay.
I know he does a lot more, but the stuff he shows on Instagram is a lot of rotation.
Right.
And so I've never heard the word anchoring, but he does a lot of that. I don't know
Yeah,
if you've
he
seen
probably
it.
has a different name for it or something.
Yeah, we all have like
Yeah.
different names for
Yeah.
stuff, but
As
like
long as you know what it is.
yeah, so that's really interesting. I didn't know about the anchoring word. That's really cool. Private hockey, only if you want your money stolen. So I know Thomas. Why Thomas is saying that? Okay, what do you think about private hockey schools or the future of hockey? Will we be collaborating on anything in the future? McDavid, Marner have come out of these kinds of schools as a way to develop high hockey skill. These are good questions. What do you think?
I mean, you don't have to belong to a private school or anything like hockey specific to make it. You got to be on the ice a lot more than you used to be. But I mean, I always tell people it's not just how often you're out there. It's like how much use of your time are you really making while you're out there, and how are you doing it? Like what you're doing, how you're doing. That stuff matters. So.
I mean, we were sort of talking about this a couple of weeks ago. That like, with the amount of information that's out there today, you got guys like great content producers like Pavel, and then tons of other guys on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Like, I'm trying to do my best at this too. There's no reason why you need to go to a private hockey school to get elite instruction. In fact, a lot of these times you're just getting these. There's some very good programs out there, but then you also get these programs where coaches are ex-NHLers, so ergo they're regarded highly, but they don't necessarily know how to coach yet.
Yeah.
Right? They might, but meanwhile you have a ton of information in social media, and the best ideas rise to the surface.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about, at that point, do what coach says. It's about the best ideas rise to the surface. You can study it anywhere, and then kind of join in on this community. So I don't think you
I
need
agree.
to.
And somebody said it in the comment section already. It's like, the best player's going to make himself
If he's doing the right training.
If they're doing the right training. And that, like, I agree with that so much, because it gets to a point, like, for us, like, as instructors, I always say, like, our job is to make you rely on me less and less and less. And my hope as an instructor is to make you so aware of all these things so that you have to rely on me way less, and that you're teaching yourself way more. And I think every pro guy, and obviously I don't know this for a fact, but I think every pro guy, they might have had like a skills trainer and stuff like that, but they got so good at teaching themselves and being able to tell themselves in their own spare time where they were going right and where they were going wrong. They're looking at video and saying, oh, okay, like that's what coach told me, or maybe they have their own thought process and on this stuff. So you can't just rely on your coaches to make you good. It's a two-way street. You got to be there with them. You got to provide the energy in terms of like what you're thinking. You can't just like rely on coach to do all the thinking for you. If you mess up, you got to think, why'd I mess up? And then you put out an idea, and it's like trial and error. You try it, try something different, and then you mess up again, and then you try something different, and you mess up again, and then you try something different, and then it works. And that message, just going through that trial and error and all that failure, will stick a lot more just having gone through it and thought through it and actually like fought your way to get something, rather than someone just telling you, hey, this is the only way to do it, or this is the way to do it.
Well, it's literally a different like process, isn't it? Of figuring it out yourself, and then showing someone else how to feel what you just felt.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because that's what it is, and like Belfry's talked about it. A lot of people talk about it as field-based learning, right? Is that the high-end guys, the best are field-based learners. They're not the drone players. They are the ones who are like, oh, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Right, and they know it.
Yeah.
And so if you figured it out as a coach, as an NHLer, or whatever high-level player, you might have figured out how to feel it yourself. But for me personally, I have to like figure out how I can make another player feel it.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother set of instructions.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like very different regard there. What's this here? Purposeful practice. I see your work with Aito. Do you give him progressions to master online?
Yeah, I mean, we work a lot through like email. So he'll send me these large files that take like 5 hours to download. That's like game footage or training footage. of him playing, and then I'll see the kind of things he's struggling with and send him back feedback on it, just to his dad, that he can speak to him through, and then we'll give him a set of drills to kind of counteract that, a few mistakes he's doing or things he's struggling with. And his dad will send me like things he's struggling with as well. So he's like, this is giving him trouble, or he's not learning this, which is great. And I love when any kid I train, the dad or the kid comes to me and is like, I'm not getting this, because that's awesome. It's like, you're totally engaged. You're totally getting the bug. You want it. You want something, and you're getting frustrated, which is a good thing. So it's just about turning that frustration into something, tangible and positive, like actually getting that skill. So we work
positive
all again. we work all through like online for me, and he's here right now, so we're gonna do a bit of work in Vancouver as well, see where he's at. And right now he's playing in 3 spring tournaments, so we'll come out with a video and show you where he's at now. But he's a great kid to learn from for any of you guys out there, because this is a kid who's from Japan, and he's out in every parking lot you can imagine, dangling with a green biscuit, trying to do whatever he's got with whatever he's given. And I'm truly amazed
read that book?
at how good he's gotten.
Have you read that book? It's a book called How to Get Everything You Can Out of Everything You've Got, or something like that. I was wondering if you
okay,
read it.
I should, because that's like, I'm all
I
about
haven't
that
read it.
stuff.
I just
but
heard it.
Awesome. But it's a good just like message, and that's why I got this like a bunch of Ito Iguchi videos, not just like to get views and because he's like Japanese and good at hockey. He's fighting for all the people out there who don't have very much but want to do a lot with it. And there's a kid from Israel, David Levin, who did the same thing, who's the number 1 OHL draft pick and played roller hockey and trained with that. So don't worry so much about what you got. You got to worry about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and just focus as much as you can and challenge yourself.
Safan he asked about the purposeful practice, and then he asked about the art of progression. And he's asking if hockey would benefit more from this type of training.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Totally. Absolutely. You gotta know the order of things, and it's got to be in the right order to allow yourself to, like we talked about earlier about the foundation, being able to build that, and to be able to get like the higher end skills. It doesn't just happen from doing the easy ones then going right to the end. It's a progression, and having to do them in the right orders. I think for all sports, not just gymnastics, not just hockey, that's the way to get there fastest.
With the progressions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Another question that got asked is, does your grip change between like toe drags and shooting? Toe drags and shooting. Between
toe drags and shooting.
Or does it stay the same?
So to toe drag, you got to keep the bottom hand loose to rotate to get the toe over the other side of the puck. So good thing we got this bad boy. So if I'm going like to the toe drag, I guess I'll show you my hands. Just to get the toe over the side of the puck, I need to drag it back. I got to go like this. Now, when we have the toe over that side of the puck, you got to tighten up the grip. So now we need strength, right? So looseness to get the blade over, and now we need the tightness on the stick to shoot it, and then when you shoot, you gotta rotate a little bit more as well. So it depends where the puck is, because
the top hand doesn't change for you.
No, I wouldn't go like this and roll like that to do a toe drag. I keep that the same.
Right, but not for shooting.
Shooting, just keep it the same.
Right.
And just keep it there, yeah.
Because I mean, personally, I have a bad habit because I broke my wrist, so I don't have super great
mobility
in it.
Yeah.
I used to have to like change my grip, just slightly.
Okay.
I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where.
Yeah, I think the top hand, I could be mistaken, but I don't think it changes really ever for me. I wonder if the backhand toe drag. This is good. I'm learning right now. See, always learning.
We're all learning.
I think the backhand toe drag. No, it stays the same. That stays the same too.
Right.
Always learning, people.
Good to know.
Don't think you know everything.
Trevor's wondering if you're coming out to New Jersey.
I hope to. Nothing planned right now.
This guy's busy, so you guys know.
Sorry. I wish I could be everywhere at once. Summer schedule is going to be Vancouver, Toronto, Phoenix, Ottawa, Quebec, New York, and back to Toronto again. And then we're making a couple more stops, maybe in Philadelphia and maybe Chicago. Those are still pending. And Nova Scotia. but that is it.
Busy
guy,
guy.
lots of travel.
Next up, actually,
Love it.
like I think Mars Blade is sending you like a hologram for you, right?
What's that?
Maybe
A
there's
hologram?
A
Yeah.
hologram Pavel
Yeah.
to just play in all these rinks
Oh, yeah.
simultaneously.
That would be great.
Went to Australia on the map. Quite a few Australian followers. Do you have
Yeah.
quite a few?
Yeah. I talked to a lot
They're
of
very
Australians.
diligent.
I
They're
love
very
it.
diligent.
I love
the
all those
Australians,
guys.
which
Yeah.
I don't expect because I figure they're all on the beach.
Exactly. Yeah. Just living the dream and with their awesome accents.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was actually talking to my buddy. We might be planning something
Take a
in
vacation.
Australia. Yeah.
Go to Australia.
Take a vacay. So I would love to come there, and I'm just like I'm so ecstatic that the game has grown so much out there. I've been following it pretty closely. I know one of my buddies who played in the NHL, Bryce Salvador, is just there with Gretzky growing the game there, and I've seen all the videos and pictures, and it's wicked. So if you're Australian playing hockey, I love you guys, and hope to see you soon.
I like that it's worldwide now. Like I've seen there's a guy on
Awesome.
Instagram. He's like in South Africa,
Yeah.
right? And he's like tagging himself in these
Dope.
like really bizarre looking arenas that like they look like they're converted. Like I don't know, but I'm like looking at it like,
Yeah.
oh, that's really
Oh.
interesting.
Places you would just never expect. Like Kenya, Hockey Tour
What?
has done videos. You got to look at the Hockey Tour videos. They've gone to
Oh.
Kenya, where else? To the Himalayas, to the top to play in the
Wow.
mountains with these guys. They
Right.
are the coolest videos. You got to watch them, man.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
sick stuff.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
More YouTube. Well, maybe we'll do a couple more questions and then
Sure, yeah.
like Pavel needs to eat. He's
Yeah.
hungry.
I got a date tonight, people.
Oh,
Come
he's got
on.
a date. Like we got to ease off on those questions. Do you have your schedule posted online somewhere?
Travel schedule, I will. I only have my hockey school one, so we're actually just like revamping the pavelbarber.ca and pavelbarber.com website. When we do that, I'm going to update it with all the schedule and listings there, so you won't have to just look at my Instagram to see where I'm at. So
Jack wants to know if Pavel's going to North Korea.
North Korea. I'll book the next flight. I'm there. Well, North Korea, man. Book my flight for me, we'll talk. Who's the player who just scored for North Korea?
What?
Or South? Was it? Which was it? South Korea or
For
North
what?
Korea? For the they just beat Slovakia in a shootout. Did you see that?
No.
Oh man, it's awesome. Like this guy's serious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, North Korea's next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're heading there next. Yeah.
North Korea.
Hockey
Look
North
it up
Korea,
on
look it
YouTube.
up on
No,
YouTube.
I've seen it. I've seen it, man. Like because you guys just beat. I swear it was Slovakia. No, not Slovakia. Sorry. What was it in a shootout? Jack, what was it, buddy? Who did you beat in a shootout, you guys? It was crazy. It was a sick move too.
You want it? Okay, you're going to North Korea. Good
Yeah,
for you.
I'm there.
Trevor's asking, how do you personally study the game to improve your hockey sense and speed up your ability to read the game?
How do you personally study the game for your hockey sense? Yeah, I mean, like, most of everything I do is through video and just kind of looking at little things and slow motion. So like, having just a basic video editor that allows you to slow-mo it down to 0.25 speed for me is usually what I use
for that. Like iMovie? Or?
I use like Movie Maker for that,
okay.
just for basic stuff when I
Right.
just need it to. I don't need like quality, super HD stuff.
Right.
I'll just use that. That's the main thing. I'll do a lot of like if I see something new when I'm watching a game, I'll just like pause it. Thank God we got that TV where you can pause and rewind live TV. Pretty awesome. So yeah, just being able to pause that and I just get my camera out and record it and just be like, how did he do that? Like, why did he bite on that? Like
Right.
that's the main question with everything I do is like, why did he bite on that? And how can we, build this into a drill to do on the ice and off the ice, and that's the way the game's going is like that off ice training, being able to do stuff that, helps you, like from that off ice and then you get on the ice and it's like you practice it 100 times. Because ice hockey, unfortunately, the one thing that sucks about our sport is it costs a lot.
Yeah.
Ice time is inconvenient. It's unavailable a lot.
Those things, yes.
Yeah, you gotta have your own training space, and it doesn't need to be a synthetic, $2,500 space. You get a golf ball and a carpet, and you can do a lot there.
And I saw an interesting. Okay, I saw this one. We didn't get to it. what do you think of 10K touches challenges? Is there any structured drills you find helpful? How important is it to be part of a rep team versus player development? The other one that I saw that I think someone asked somewhere was something along the lines of like, what's the most important thing? So I don't know if those all tie together.
The most important like drill, or
for stick handling, yeah.
Okay.
Is there like one like leading domino? That
Okay. Well, I'll first just answer the first part of that other question. The 10K touches.
what is that?
I don't know what
is?
I think it's like. Just like the 10,000 shot challenge, maybe, if that's what you're talking about.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, like people would issue challenges, which is good, gets people out. I don't like to put numbers on things.
Yeah.
So for me, it was always train as long as you can with as much focus as you can. So like, and that goes hand in hand with not burning out. So don't worry too much about the numbers. Quality over quantity. Worry about like your focus. Maybe you take 5 shots, in 2 minutes or in 1 minute, but that's like better than taking 100 shots where you're just ripping them and not looking and not focusing on release points and where your weight is and all that stuff.
So OMHA 10K touches, is that?
Yeah, I don't think I've.
Something to you?
Yeah, maybe I'm talking about a wrong thing. I don't know what the OMHA 10K touches is, but don't have numbers wrapped up in your head. Just get out there for as long as you can and keep the quality up.
I don't know what your belief is with this. Mine personally is that, like, well, if you actually dive into the research that, what's it called, like talent code, what's it called, is based off of, is that it's based off of 10,000 hours of deliberate practice, right? Not purposeful practice, deliberate practice. So deliberate means, that you have a master coach reviewing it with you, and you're looking at errors, and you're like really going over it. Purposeful practice might be hard work, it might be a lot of reps, but deliberate practice is something different. So the idea of 10,000 shots might be purposeful practice, or it might just be practice, but it's not deliberate practice. So the deliberate practice is what Pavel is saying. And to answer to Ryan's question, about if I record video of myself, how do I tell how to improve what I'm doing wrong? The deliberate practice of figuring out what you're doing wrong with your video, that 10,000 hours is probably more important than just cramming down 10,000 shots.
Yeah.
Right. And
what are you getting out of it?
Exactly. And so Pavel's really good at what he was saying was that, and I'd suggest Ryan should do this, is that he described this earlier in the live cast too, is that you looked at stuff, right? You watched video of yourself, and then you compared it.
Yeah.
And you just kept trying to figure out what the difference was.
Yeah.
Right?
I love video because video doesn't lie, and I've been at the stage where you're so certain you're doing something right, and you're humbled by video. You look at it, and especially when you slow motion that video down, and you're like, wow, I thought I looked way different. I thought it looked sexier in my head. I thought I pulled this off way better, but
probably like my video from today. I probably thought I looked good out there. You're gonna show them it to me. I'm like, oh crap.
Well, be sure to slow motion it down. Show all your flaws.
Yeah. Highlights here.
He did great. Come on. That's awesome.
Yeah, cool. Hey, well,
Ukraine, that was the team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they beat Ukraine.
But he's from the U.S. Jack's from the U.S. What do you want him to go to North Korea for? Why are you trying to put him in danger? Yeah. What's with that?
Do that.
No.
Do that to Pavel.
Hey, well, on behalf of Train 2.0 and all the members and subscribers, appreciate you.
Yeah, buddy. Anytime.
It's a ton of fun.
Love chatting hockey.
Yeah. Talking hockey. That's what we're doing.
All right. Next, I'm gonna see this guy. I'm gonna get my Twitch channel started. I'm gonna face him in NHL. Apparently he sucks.
Yeah, pretty bad.
And I suck.
Yeah.
So if you love high quality hockey,
bad hockey,
don't tune in. But if you love the other, we'll get you.
We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks very much for watching. That was a ton of fun. And well, I guess before we go, I mean, people know how to get a hold of you, but just so they know for sure.
Yeah.
How should people get a hold of you on social media?
Sure. Yeah. So Instagram handle is @HeyBarber. I'm pretty good with DMs, so if you DM me, it might take a long time to get back to you. But if you have a good question and not just follow me or hi, I'll usually get back to you and try to help you guys out. YouTube, same thing. It's just Pavel Barber. YouTube.com/Pavel Barber. Comment on the videos. Subscribe if you want to be entertained and educated. We try and do everything, make hockey fun, and that is pretty much it. I think Facebook.com/PavelBarber90. We post stuff on there as well.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you from the members. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for all your questions, guys. That was great. Good
and,
stuff.
Maybe we'll look forward to a round 2 sometime.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, see you guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the 80/20 show hosted by Jason Yee. Be sure to check out more at train2.0.com.